that just did a little bit of makeup. And so we're going to be reading a book that, okay, first off, this video will be like 20 to 30 minutes. And so every month I want to read, we're going to get done or finish with this book together, okay? So every month I'll do 20 to 30 minutes of reading this until we got it finished. So, I was a part of a book club, but I only went to one meeting, and that is when we got to meet each other in school. And so I didn't really get into that because I couldn't finish this book because of schoolwork. I'm pre-nursing, so it was really hard because of the nursing classes that I had, like the classes before I get into nursing. But I don't know about nursing, but I'm just saying this. Wow, I got this book. They gave us this book. It's called The Circle. And I read it to this spot. I don't even know if they have chapters. I was gonna read a chapter every video, but this is where I'm at. So yeah, the lighting is bad. I know. Like, I'm using a lamp light because I can't find the plug for my ring light. I don't know why. It just disappeared. But this book is really good. Okay, I'm gonna read the back. When May Holland is hired to work for The Circle, the world's most powerful internet company, she feels she's been given the opportunity of a lifetime, even as life beyond the campus grows distant, even as a strange encounter with a colleague leaves her shaken, even as her role at the Circle becomes increasingly public. What begins as the captivating story of one woman's ambition and idealism soon becomes a heart-racing novel of suspense, raising questions about memory, history, privacy, democracy, and the limits of human knowledge. So let's get started. It doesn't sound good, but it is an international bestseller. The Washington Post said it was chilling. The New York Times says it was profit, I don't know. Vanity Fair says it's an elegantly told, compulsively readable parable. That's how you say it. And then the Wall Street Journal said it's a vivid, roaring descent. It's the best-selling author of What is the What? So it's by Dave Eggers, and I don't want to blind you. So this is the book. This is the back of it. Like at the book club, we chose which book we wanted to read, and I've never read a book really fully, so they just really picked the class. So this, okay, I'm gonna flip until we get to the first page. It's just people talking about the book, just talking about it. At first I didn't want to read this book, but because I wanted to read mine, because if I would read a book, it would be in the mystical type of the mythology, genre, because I love stuff like that when I read, but not really in movies. I love that, and romance, and this isn't really, I don't think, what the story is about. It's about, which is drama. Okay, but my gosh, I'm gonna say gosh because they're using God's name in vain. My gosh, May thought it's heaven. The campus was vast and rambling wild. Wait, hold up. Is this the first? It is, okay. I think. But yeah, it is. My gosh, May thought it's heaven. The campus was vast and smallest detail had been carefully considered, shaped by the most eloquent hands, on land that had once been a shipyard, then a drive-in movie theater, then a flea market, then Blight. There were now soft green hills and a Calatrava fountain. I don't know how to say that. And a picnic area with tables arranged in concentric circles and tennis courts, clay and grass. That was so loud. I hate loud cars, clay and grass. Okay, wait. And tennis courts, clay and grass, and a volleyball court where tiny children from the company's daycare center were running, squealing, weaving like water amid all this was a workplace too. 400 acres of brushed steel and glass on the headquarters of the most influential company in the world. The sky above was spotless and blue, so she's just telling everything that's at the workplace like was located in there. May was making her way through all of this, walking from the parking lot to the main hall, trying to look as if she belonged. The walkway wound around lemon and orange trees, and its quiet red cobblestones were replaced occasionally by tiles with imploring messages of inspiration. Dream, one said. The word laser cut into the red stone. Participate, said another. There were dozens of fine company, innovate, imagine, like words that somebody wrote on like places. So there was fine company, innovate, imagine, dream, participate on like that people wrote. She just missed stepping on the hand of a young man in a gray jumpsuit. He was installing a new stone that said breathe. On a sunny Monday in June, May stopped in front of the main door, standing below the logo etched into the glass above. Though the company was less than 6 years old, its name and logo, a circle surrounding a knitted grid with a small C in the center, were already among the best known in the world. There were more than 10,000 employees on the main campus, but the circle had offices all over the globe and was hiring hundreds of gifted young minds every week. It had been voted the world's most admired company for years running. May wouldn't have thought she had a chance to work at such a place, but for Annie was 2 years older. So Annie was 2 years older, and they'd roomed together for 3 semesters in college. In an ugly building made habitable through their extraordinary bond, something like friends, something like sisters or cousins who wished they were siblings and would have reason never to be apart. Their first month living together, May had broken her jaw one twilight after fainting, flu-ridden and underfed during finals. Annie had told her to stay in bed, but May had gone to the 7-Eleven for caffeine and woke up on the sidewalk under a tree. Annie took her to the hospital and waited. She waited as they wired her jaw, and then stayed with May, sleeping next to her in a wooden chair all night, and then at home for days. For days had fed May through a straw. So she's a really nice friend, y'all. It was a fierce, but like dang, she really got hurt. It was a fierce level of commitment and competence that May had never seen from someone her age or near her age, and May was thereafter loyal in a way she'd never known she could be. While May was still at Carlton, mentoring between, I'm not saying that right, mentoring between majors from art history to marketing to psychology, getting her degree in psych with no plans to go further in the field, and he had gotten her MBA from Stanford, and was recruited everywhere, but particularly at the Circle, and had landed her year days after graduation. Now she had some lofty title, Director of Ensuring the Future, and he joked and had urged May to apply for a job. May did so, and though Annie insisted she pulled no strings, May was sure that Annie had, and she felt indebted beyond all measure. 1,000,000 people, 1,000,000,000 wanted to be where May was at this moment, entering this atrium, 30 feet high and shot through with the California light on her first day, working for the only company that really mattered at all. So, May, I'm like a teacher. May wanted to work. Annie persuaded her to get a job, and May, since she felt indebted to her, she applied to the job that she wanted. It's her dream job to be working at the Circle. And so May was saying, probably was thinking she pulled some strings for her to get the job, like she thought Annie did, but Annie said that she didn't pull any strings, that it was from her. It was her who got it herself, that May got it by herself. She didn't need her help. That's what Annie is telling her, basically. And I think everybody wants this job because it's really popular and it has good benefits and all this stuff there, She pushed open the heavy door. The front hall was as long as a parade, as tall as a cathedral. There were offices everywhere above, 4 floors high. On either side, every wall made of glass. Briefly dizzy, she looked downward, and in the immaculate glossy floor, she saw her own face reflected, looking worried. She shaped her mouth into a smile, feeling a presence behind her. "You must be May." May turned to find a beautiful young head floating atop a scarlet scarf and white silk blouse. "I'm Renata," she said. "Hi, Renata. I'm looking for Annie." "I know. She's on her way." A digital droplet came from Renata's ear. Renata was looking at May, but was seeing something else. Retinal interface. May assumed another innovation born here. "She's in the Old West," Renata said, focusing on May again. "But she'll be here soon." May smiled. "I hope she's got some hardtack and a sturdy horse." Renata smiled politely but did not laugh. That would be awkward. So basically, she's going into the job, and I guess just looking around, just understanding the company, getting a tour, I guess. May knew the company's practice of naming each proportion of the campus after a historical era. It was a way to make an enormous place less impersonal, West Corporate. It beat Building 3B East, where May had last worked. Her final day at the public utility in her hometown had been only 3 weeks ago. They'd been stupefied when she gave notice, but already it seemed impossible. She'd wasted so much of her life there. Good riddance, May thought, to that gulag and all it represented. So she's probably happy because she left that horrible job that she didn't like. She's recalling that, okay, Renata was still getting signals from her earpiece. Oh wait, she said. Now she's saying she's still tied up over there. Renata looked at May with a radiant smile. Why don't I take you to your desk, she says. She'll meet you there in an hour or so. May thrilled a bit at those words, your desk, and immediately she thought of her dad. He was proud, so proud, he said on her voicemail. He must have left the message at 4 a.m. She'd gotten it when she woken up. So very proud, he said. Choking up, May was 2 years out of college. And here she was. May was 2 years out of college, and here she was gainfully employed by the Circle with her own health insurance, her own apartment in the city, being no burden to her parents who had plenty else to worry about. May followed Renata. I say her name differently every time. May followed Renata out of the atrium on the lawn. Under dappled light, a pair of young people were sitting on a man-made hill, holding some kind of clear tablet, talking with great intensity. You'll be in the Renaissance over here, Renata said, pointing across the lawn to a building of glass and oxidized copper. This is where all the customer experience people are. You visited before? May nodded. I have a few times, but not this building. My stomach, oh my goodness. So you've seen the pool, the sports area. Renata waved her hand off towards the blue parallelogram and an angular building, the gym rising behind it. Over there's the yoga studio, CrossFit, Pilates, massages, spinning. I heard you spin. Behind that there's the Bosch courts and the new tetherball set up. The cafeteria is just across the grass. Renata pointed to the lush rolling green with a handful of young people dressed professionally and splayed about like sunbathers. And here we are. They stood before the Renaissance, another building with a 40-foot atrium, a Calder mobile turning slowly above. Oh, I love Calder, May said. Renata smiled. I know you do. They looked up at it together. This one used to hang in the French Parliament, something like that. The wind that had followed them and now turned the mobile such that an arm pointed to me as if welcoming her personally. Renata took her elbow. Ready? Up this way. Like, why? How does Renata know so much about me? Like, that's creepy. They entered an elevator of glass tinted faintly orange. Lights flickered on, and May saw her name appear on the walls, along with her high school yearbook photo. Welcome, May Holland. A sound something like a gasp left May's throat. She hadn't seen that phone in years and hasn't seen that photo in years and had been happy for its absence. But as you can see, they're basically, lot, and you can tell it's very like high, like it's modernized, the building. This is precisely like the cubicle she'd worked at for the last 18 months. It was the first thing she'd seen at the circle that hadn't been rethought, that bore any resemblance to the past. The material lining the cubicle walls was, she couldn't believe it. It didn't seem possible. Burlap. I don't know what that means. May knew Renata was watching her, and she knew her face was betraying something like horror. Smile, she thought. Smile. This okay, Renata said. Her eyes darted all over May's face. May forced her mouth to indicate some level of satisfaction. Great. Looks great. This was not what she expected. Okay then, I'll leave you to get yourself acquainted with the workspace, and Denise and Josiah will be in soon to orient you and get you set up. So the location she's at now, look, it's like a broken down place. It reminds her of her old job 18 months ago. I got some eyebrow stuff, some eyeshadow on my nose. Oh my goodness. Okay, but did anyone... Okay, oh. May twisted her mouth into a smile. Again, and Renata turned and left. May sat, noting that the back of the chair was half broken, that the chair would not move, its wheels seeming stuck, all of them. A computer had been placed on the desk, but it was an ancient model she hadn't seen anywhere else in the building. May was... Computer had been placed on this, but it was an ancient model she hadn't seen anywhere else in the building. May was baffled and found her mood sinking into the same sort of abyss in which she'd spent the last few years. Did anyone really work at a utility company anymore? How had May come to work there? How had she tolerated it? When people had asked where she worked, she was more inclined to lie and say she was unemployed. Would it have been any better if it hadn't been in her hometown? After 6 or so years of loathing her hometown, of cursing her parents for moving there and subjecting her to its limitations and scarcity of everything, diversion, restaurants, enlightened minds, May had recently come to remember Longfield was something like a tenderness. It was a small town between Fresno and Tranquility, incorporated and named by a literal-minded farmer in 1866. 150 years later, its population had peaked at just under 2,000 souls, most of them working in Fresno, 20 miles away. Longfield was a cheap place to live, and the parents of May's friends were security guards. So May's friends, parents of May's friends were security guards, teachers, truckers who liked to hunt. Of May's graduating class of 81, she was one of 12 to go to a 4-year college and the only one to go east of Colorado. That she went so far and went into such debt only to come back and work at the local utility shredded her. And her parents, though outwardly they said she was doing the right thing, taking a solid opportunity and getting started in paying down her loans. I'm on page 9. I'm gonna read to page 10. The utility building 3B East was a tragic block of cement. But anyways, she's talking about her hometown. Y'all, this is so boring. The beginning is so boring. They said she was doing the right thing, taking a solid opportunity, getting started and paying down her loans. The utility building 3 creepy east was a tragic block of cement with narrow vertical slits for windows. Inside, most of the offices were walled with cinder block, everything painted a sickly green. It was like working in a locker room. She'd been the youngest person in the building by a decade or so, and even those in their 30s were of a different century. They marveled at her computer skills, which were basic and common to anyone she knew, but her co-workers at the utility were astounded. They called her the Black Lightning. Some wielded some wielded reference to her hair and told her she had quite a bright future at the utility if she played her cards right. In 4 or 5 years, they told her she could be head of IT for the whole substation. Her exasperation was unbounded. She had not gone to college. $234,000 worth of elite liberal arts education for a job like that, but it was work and she needed the money. Her student loans were ferocious and demanded monthly feedings, so she took the job and the paycheck and kept her eyes open for greener pastures. Y'all, I thought I had something on my face. But we're done for this segment. So we're on number 10, on page 10 for that. If y'all got that book, I don't know what to tell you, you can read with me. But y'all, before we leave, I found this wig. It's too black. I'm gonna get a more natural one. And my lashes look gray a little bit because before I put on the mascara, I used, where is it? I don't know. I think I put it up, but it is a lash grower. I've never used it before. My lashes are how they are now, or how they are naturally, so now I want to get them even longer. So I'm going to be using something that has like a white tint to it, as you can see a little bit. But yeah, so, and then I finally got some of my stuff for that I bought that came in, and look at it, it's Marc Jacobs. Y'all, comes with the bag. Okay, look at this. Look at that. Those colors are gorgeous, right? Okay, I just wanted to show y'all that before we left, you know. So for next month, I'll see y'all. So we're gonna read more of The Circle. It would be cool if I did a video of watching TV or something while whispering, like have something